Welcome to our Emergency Preparedness video series. This is number 1 of 12 videos that will become available during this year, each 1 month.
Being prepared for disasters and emergencies can seem like a big job. Many people don't know where to start, so they never start at all. Do One Thing is a 12-month program that has been adopted nationally by emergency services of many counties. The program makes it easy for you to prepare yourself, your family, and your community for emergencies or disasters. The first thing to do is make a plan. The goal of this presentation is to help you understand what are the disasters that you may be at risk of and what you can do to mitigate those risks. Our objectives are threefold. 1, learn what types of disasters or emergencies may affect you and how you will react to them. 2, learn what you can do to help mitigate damage to your primary shelter, your home. And 3, create plans with your family on how to evacuate depending upon the crisis.
There are 4 types of emergencies and disasters that we will be sharing with you. The first are natural disasters. Some examples of natural disasters include flood, earthquake, hurricane, and drought. The next type of disaster is referred to as technological. Technological emergencies are caused by malfunction or human error, such as industrial pollution, chemical spill, dam failure, transportation accidents. Next up are the intentional disasters, or most of the time referred to as terrorism. Terrorism is defined as an act that is violent or dangerous to human life with the intent of furthering political or social objectives. The last type of disaster or emergency is categorized as personal. This includes a house or residential fire, a medical emergency, or perhaps the loss of job or income. Let's talk about some that may affect any of us in this community.
Wildfire is probably our biggest concern, particularly by those who live in the foothills and mountain areas. In recent years, wildfires have become a greater concern, particularly now with how PG&E has caused some of our largest ones, and the reason we now have PSPS. The picture on the right is of the 2007 Henrico fire, which was in the valley east of Morgan Hill. The picture on the left is of the more recent 2020 SCU Lightning Complex fire, which burned 396,624 acres, destroying 222 structures. Hazmat. From San Jose down through Hollister, our cities are divided by trains that carry chemicals, pesticides, and other dangerous products. In Coyote Valley and Gilroy, there are natural gas power plants which use different chemicals in creating power. If any of these have spills or releases, the nearby residents may have to shelter in place or evacuate. Earthquakes are a known hazard in California. We don't know when they will happen, how strong they will be, or how long the shaking will last. We also don't know where we will be when it hits. We've all recently been experiencing a pandemic. We're familiar with having to wear masks and other PPE, the empty shelves in supermarkets and grocery stores, and the loss of time away from loved ones and friends. Pictured here is the type of flood that happens in many communities when storm drains or drainage canals are overwhelmed. The most common type is river flooding, when a body of water exceeds its capacity. Flash flooding is the most dangerous type. Dam failures have literally washed cities away. This is Anderson Dam a couple of years ago when it exceeded capacity and the water flowed down the spillway. This excessive amount of water flooded homes in Morgan Hill and San Jose.
Here is a list of different types of disasters. Some may happen in our area, and some will probably never happen. The first thing to do in planning is write down a list of those disasters that can possibly affect you, and then organize them with the highest probability of occurring at the top. If you live in the hills or mountains, most likely wildfire is your biggest concern, with landslides perhaps being the second. If you live in the valley, flooding, dam failure, or hazmat incidents may be your primary concerns. Talk with all your family members, including your children. Everyone should be able to give input and suggestions on how to be prepared and cope with disaster challenges. Remember that there's a significant chance that at least one of your family members will be at work, at school, or away from home. Contingency plans need to be discussed for all those scenarios. Have each family member take on responsibility in helping with the planning. Work as a team with everyone participating. Give assignments and dates of when they need to be completed and follow through. Don't dwell on the negatives of a disaster. Talk openly about the possibilities and how you as a family can overcome many of the challenges. Teaching our families about the facts will assist them in overcoming anxiety and fears. Be an active listener. Hear what each of your family members are saying and address each of their fears and questions. Remember when we were children and were afraid of monsters? Disasters could be another one of those monsters that needs to be conquered. There's always more than one way to take care of different challenges. Be open to multiple options. Now to summarize your risk assessment, write a list of what types of emergencies or disasters may happen at home, work, school, or while out to play. Organize your risk assessment list with the most likely ones to occur on the top of the list. And again, to emphasize, the more you involve everyone in your family, the more they will be willing to share the responsibility. And write the plans and options down. Create lists of how you're going to accomplish each of the objectives of the plan. Give timeframes on when the tasks need to be completed and be realistic with those timeframes. Review your plans often. They will need to change and be updated over time. Practice regularly with different scenarios.
When building a new structure or home, or when upgrading it, consider using fire-resistant materials. Fire embers can enter inside the roof through venting, either on the roof or under the eaves. Make sure there is metal mesh to prevent embers from entering. Clean your rain gutters on a regular basis. Better yet, consider placing covers on them to prevent collection of debris. A defensible space should extend 30 feet from the building. Remove all wood piles and dead vegetation. Trim branches to be 10 feet away from your chimney. Have your address number painted on the curb. This will assist the police and fire to identify and protect your home. Earthquakes can move or knock over heavy items. Secure heavy furniture and equipment. Computers and office equipment, or anything that is top-heavy, should be secured. Childproof locks on cabinets not only keep little ones out, but keeps all of your belongings inside the cabinets. Water heaters need to be secured to a wall. Don't just strap them with plumber's tape. We have learned through studies that earthquakes don't just move things up, down, and sideways. They can actually twist them. The new straps completely encircle the water heater and prevents twisting. You need to use flexible hoses to connect to water lines. Don't use copper lines. Use stainless steel. Hot water makes copper brittle. The gas line connected to the water heater needs to be flexible also and should have a shutoff valve. Every family member should know about 2 locations to meet up with each other. You may have heard the story of a house fire that when the family met up outside, the parents couldn't find one of their children. One parent entered back into the house that was on fire, became overwhelmed by smoke, and died in the house. It turned out that the missing child went out a different way from the house and was safe on the other side. Have a standard meeting place that the entire family knows where to go. An example could be meet at the streetlight across the street from the house. In the event that the home isn't safe, there should be a second location where the family will meet. This is very important for those who are away from the home when the incident happened. All members of the family should know these locations and how to get to them. Where do you go if you need to evacuate? Relative, friend, hotel? The type of disaster may define the direction or route you may take. Immediate flooding, you may want to go toward high ground. Wildfire, go to the valley and out to safer ground. The first cars out won't get stuck in traffic or along with the ensuing panic. Practice with the goal to get out of your house in under 10 minutes. Here's a tip. Do what the fire departments do. Keep the gas tank at least 1/2 to 2/3 full at all times.
In review, we have discussed what disasters could possibly happen in your area and have offered suggestions on how to react to a disaster. We've reviewed the steps to prevent or mitigate damage to your home from a disaster, and we presented ideas on what to do if you need to evacuate. The Santa Clara County Office of Emergency Management has created an easy-to-use app that can help you create your emergency plans. It is called Ready SCC and is available for iPhones and Android cell phones. You simply answer 5 questions and it builds a dashboard that will walk you through the rest of the process. It's powerful, safe, and secure. Our city and county have built websites that also have an abundance of additional information. A national website created by Homeland Security can be found at ready.gov. It has extensive information and resources. We encourage you to explore these sites. This concludes the presentation of Make a Plan. Thank you for viewing.